Hello, Rosebuds. Hello. If this is your first time seeing my face, I want to welcome you to the Rose Garden. My name is Kimberly Ann. Sorry, I sound like a little Justin Bieber right now. I don't know why. I know I've done quite a bit of purging over the last couple of days, so that's probably why. Um, but welcome to the channel. I create videos for people all around the world, men, women, particularly for women of color like myself who are going through the challenges and the realization of things we have to heal. And a lot of stuff we're healing from is not even our own. It is of our lineage, our family's past. So I have 3 daughters and 4 nieces, and I like to leave this stuff for them. So then if they need it later on, they can use it to help themselves heal as well, just in case they do need it later on. Also, if you check my description box below, I have things you may need if you want like guidance or anything like that. But I do need to read your natal chart, especially for the life coaching portion. I have to have access to your contract with you and God for this lifetime. Okay, but that's into my spiel. Made it under 1:15. Look at God. So today's message is stop checking in with God to see if you're healed enough. Being validated by an external measure is not necessary. Also, by you feeling that way or feeling you need to keep stopping and checking with God to see if you're healed enough for your blessings to come in, it also is you still being in that waiting to be chosen energy. It is also still you being in lack energy where you're basically saying, I am not enough yet. I can tell you guys right now, it is a leftover imprint. You don't have to earn love or your blessings that are due for you. They are already yours. Especially if you look at everything from a quantum physics point of view. We live in parallel timelines. If the desire is in you, it's already in the next timeline. I get it. We get frustrated in the timelines we are. And believe me, y'all, I'm learning this currently myself. Where I'm just like, I'm still trying to grasp like what it is that I did wrong in certain situations. And if you guys watched my video yesterday, my brother is like, you didn't do anything wrong. You actually have always been the woman who chooses. You've never been the woman that has waited to be chosen. He's like, you've been like that your whole life. You've always been the one that decides this is not enough for me. I need to go. And I'm like, you know what? He's absolutely right. He's like, you're not our mom. Our mom was excited to be chosen by our dad out of a plethora of women, and they continuously choose each other. Yes. Now how they came together is fucked up, but he was like, at the end of the day, they still chose one another. And when my brother said it that way, I was like, you know what? That makes so much sense. And that is true. And I never realized, I guess I've never really paid attention to the amount of power that I have exuded my entire life. Power that I've actually given away to people because I've been like, well, won't they choose to do right by me? It wasn't that they didn't choose me. Hell, they would try to double back all the time. It's just that in my mind, why keep coming back if you're going to keep choosing to do dumb shit? And the thing I had to come to a realization was it wasn't for them to choose to do things correctly. It was for me to choose to walk away and walk towards the path and into the arms of someone who will do right by me. And I was so glad to have that talk with my brother yesterday because he helped me get to the right path. Because like I was really having a moment this past week, like a moment. But he really helped me like get realigned. And he's like, you've never been the one to wait to be chosen. You've always chosen where you want to go, what you want to do, how much money you gonna make doing it. He's like, you've always been the choosing, been choosing. Why can't you choose the person you want to love or the person you desire to love you? And he's so right. And it's crazy, like with my mentor, she was literally trying to teach me how to choose the correct partner. And it didn't dawn on me, like, this is supposed to be who I am. This is supposed to be my natural essence, is to rotationally date, have different partners, and choose the correct one. It's always supposed to have been that way for me. But I was raised under a father who believed that he could have multiple people. This is, before he met my mom. I'm not sure if he did anything after my mom or not. We may never know, or it may come out at a later time. But he felt like men could have the options to choose. Women aren't. Like, once he chose a woman, that woman's supposed to be dedicated to him and only him. And it's so crazy. That's how my youngest child's father was. Once he choose to F with you, you can't mess with nobody else. You're not allowed. And that didn't sit with me. And that's how I ended up leaving. Because I'm like, no, if you could have Tom, Dick, Harry, Susan, and Anthony, whoever the fuck you want to have on your belt, I can too. And I'm going to just pray out of the several few that I have that one of them end up being the correct one. So I'm just now getting used to the idea of actually rotationally dating. Even though I've been saying I'm rotationally dating all year, I still could not wrap my head around it. But after the conversation with my brother yesterday, I think now I'm more energetically open to it. To where instead of me just saying it at a head knowledge, now I'm embodying being a chosen one, where I get to choose. So someone had said that I thought was really awesome. Chosen ones get to choose. Chosen ones aren't chosen. They're already chosen. So they get to choose. And I was like, oh my God, that didn't like right over my head, So now I'm finally coming to grips with shit. I may have to go through a couple of people before I find the prince. I'm gonna have to go through a couple frogs at the same time. You know what is hard for me to grasp the whole situation is I don't like giving my body to multiple people at one time. I can't do it. So now I've gotten to a place where I'm like, ain't nobody touching me unless you become my husband. And like, I tell everybody that off rip, sorry, the next man to touch me is gonna be my husband. So I'm not doing nothing. Sex is not on the table for me. If that's what you're looking for, I must suggest you go find somebody else, because I don't want to do it. I don't want to be touched by 50 different motherfuckers. That's just not me. Like, it's even really hard for me to really be hugging people, like on some real live shit, because I know the energy exchange that come with that. And I don't like the energy exchange that come with that at all. So I'm gonna do a card pull for us today, actually, y'all, because I want to see where our energy is at the current moment and go from there. And hope don't nothing fly on the floor. I'm so sorry for my voice. Oh, he gay as hell. I'm sorry, y'all. Shouldn't walk so close to my car. So let's see what energy come up for us, Rosebuds. How are you guys today, by the way? Today is Saturday, October 18th. Yeah, Saturday, October 18th. Happy Saturday to y'all. I actually feel like I'm coming down off of like a whirlwind of emotions. Oh, and yesterday night, this is so profound. Before I get into this deck, I went to go get a craniosacral massage therapy session at my favorite holistic spot over in Lakewood called Holistic Medicine. Now let me tell you guys how God worked. Just listen to this. I was trying to find the first building that I ever moved to when I left my parents. I wanted to find the building, and I could not find that building at all, right? Couldn't find it at all. I have been going to Lakewood Holistic Medicine for a very long time. We talking like 2-3 years maybe. I would go visit them for my Reiki, or my or any type of massage whatsoever. I will go there. And I just so happened to go yesterday and it's suiting because of the timing. Y'all know it was my mother's and my grandmother's birthday. My sister showed up. This week has just been energetically on 10. So I went late, and I usually don't go to them late. I usually go early in the day. And I couldn't find a place to park where I normally park. So I turned down a street to make a U-turn to come out and go up another street. And lo and behold, I drove into the building where I had my first apartment. Now, in that first apartment, which it was a beautiful apartment, it was brand new. When I saw it, the guy was just remodeling it. So I was the first tenant to go in there after it remodeled. New toilet, new tub, new everything. Okay, I thought I was the shit. Okay. However, in that space, and I was about 19, in that space, I suffered my first several sexual attacks. The first one was by the devil himself. And I was literally fighting the devil in my sleep. And the second one was by someone who I thought I loved, who had betrayed me really bad and left a scar on me that I have since healed, praise God. So when I found that building, I said, oh my God, this was my first home outside of my parents. This is wild. And lo and behold, it's right across the street where I've been coming to get energetic healing from for the longest, because it sits behind a whole nother building. And the street that the holistic medicine is on is Madison and Mars. The name of the street is Mars. So I ended up parking on Mars, which Mars for me, I want to say, is in my third house of communication, house of voice, never speaking up. I never thought that I could speak up. I never thought that I could say anything, blah, 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 right? So I go in to get my craniosacral massage, and I'm going in with this information, like, because the number of the building, the address of the building equaled the number 9, and we're in a 9 year. And I end up finding that building close to the end of the ninth year, or of a 9 year. And I just was like, wow, maybe that now I'm finally leaving the trauma of it all behind. The trauma of everything that I've endured over the last, oh my God, so I'm 38 now, getting ready to be 39. So we talking about 20 years worth of trauma that I have kept stored in my body. And I never spoke on. Actually, you guys will be the first to hear it. I never spoke on it. So I went in and I deep dived into my therapy session. And I remember burning up my left leg. My hips were so heavy and they hurted so bad. And the cover that I was under was like super thin, but when it was time for me to get up off the table, it was so heavy. It felt like a weighted blanket. So when I came out, she said, how do you feel? And I told her. She said, what were you feeling? And I told her, and she said, that's because all of your traumas in your hips. She's like, you carry so much trauma and stuff in your hips. It's not funny. And she was like, I don't know if you bear more weight on your right leg, but your right side felt super heavy. And it didn't dawn on me then, because I was like waking up from this like transit state, but I was like, shit, I used to box. My right leg was my dominant leg that I would fight with in any fight, not just when I was boxing. So, and I'm right-sided. I do everything on my right side. I'm right-handed, everything. I'm very masculine in a lot of my ways. So I'm like, that's why my right side was heavy, because it carried most of everything. But my left side was on fire. My chest was on fire, everything, right? So then I forgot to even tell her that I woke up super nauseated. I mean, I woke up so nauseated, but it wasn't like a nauseous, I'm gonna throw up. It was just, I was nauseous. Like, body wasn't ready to throw, didn't want to throw up, but it knew, it felt like something wanted to come out. I had peed before I went into the session, a whole bowl, and I peed after I got up, a whole 2 bowls, like as if I didn't pee before I went in, right? Then I had, during the session, I was brought to a table with a jar, an empty mason jar. And I remember yesterday I had something prompted me to draw a mason jar, and I drew a mason jar, and I left it empty, and I wrote at the top, this is where you will build your new connection, right? So I'm thinking of all the things I want to drop into the mason jar that I would want for my new connection. And instead, they brought me to that jar in the dream world, is what I call it. And they was telling me to put things in it. And I started crying. And she's like, well, why are you crying? And this is not my therapist. This is like me and a spirit guide. Like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I've never gotten to choose before. But where I felt like I've gotten to choose before, I've gotten it wrong. What if I do it again this time? And she's like, you won't get it wrong this time, because this time you're actually like, you're consciously choosing. You're not just going with the flow and thinking you've chosen. She was like, no, you're consciously choosing. She was like, you were mainly going with the flow of like teachings and shit like that, is what she said when she said it's time for you to choose now. She's like, you really weren't choosing. You were literally accepting whatever came to you. You did not choose before. And I'm like, you are so fucking right. So I started choosing. I dropped 3 things in that jar before my badass daughter called my phone and woke me up out of my trance that I had to go back into. But I did choose. And this morning in the witching hour, which spirit woke me up at 2:45, had me go to the bathroom, come back, I went right back to sleep, and then I had a dream. I'm going to tell you guys about this dream, because maybe it can be of some significance to you. But it was about her father, actually, which is so funny because I went to holistic medicine earlier this year for a Reiki session, and he actually had called me during the session. Luckily, I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. So it's fitting for someone with his DNA to call me during this session, because I literally, before I even laid down on the table, went to the mirror, meditated, and stared at my face. And I stared right here, and I watched my whole face disappear in the mirror. And I said, I'm leaving everything on this table. I am literally leaving it all. Whatever wounds I have, whatever, I want it gone, and I'm leaving it here right now. And I did. That's why my body woke up feeling heavy, because I literally it just poured out of me, which is why I peed so much. It just poured out of me. So in the dream, I was in my car, pulled up to like a exposed brick structured house. Walked, and when I didn't walk in, it actually, like, the dream flipped where I'm standing in the house, and it was her father sitting on the arm of a chair, of a rocking chair, like a big plush rocking chair, and he was like just leaned over the side, like as if he was drunk or something. There were men all over the place, just laid out, trash everywhere, holes in the wall, but they were clean cut holes that exposed the, turn that down, baby, that exposed the bases or the shafts of the wall, you know, the studs, there you go, the studs of the wall, right? There was one flat screen TV hooked up on the wall, and the walls were gray. Then the dream flipped, and we ended up in my car, and he was like, come on, pull off. And I was like, no, why are you even in my car? I said, hey, is it true you got 4 kids on the way? And he looked down in utter disgust with himself and was like, yeah, it's true. And the dream ended up flipping to another scene. And we ended up in like a warehouse that I energetically knew I owned. And we walked in the first floor, and there was a encased glass like classroom, and we saw his ex, and she was teaching a class, and she looked so happy and so good. And I was happy to see that, you know, it looked like she moved on and she was super happy. The whole 9 yards, she waved, you know, I waved back, and we kept moving. As we started moving through the building, and we're going into different levels of the building, and we didn't get to see all the levels. It literally went from first floor, top floor where the cafe was at. He began to age. I could see as we're moving up. So I knew we're moving up, but he started to progressively age into an old man, to the point that when we got to the cafe, he picked out stuff he wanted, but I had to like guide him on how to bag it. His gait was shuffled, the whole 9 yards. And I just was like, wow, look what you turned into. All these years you had so many women thinking you were all that, and this is what